back to the Dossier Project. Today we're gathered here today. We're going to be talking about one of the 12 traits that we talked about, what makes a DOS woman. And the first one is gratitude. We already had recorded one episode about that, and today we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to share some more personal things and just really kind of share more. So and in case you haven't already, please like, share, and comment on our social media. And with that, let's talk about some gratitude, ladies. I guess I'll start. Okay. All right. So for me, it was actually pretty interesting because I do a bit of gratitude each day, a little bit like health and family, and just kind of right when I wake up. Not a super long, in-depth thing, but I am truly grateful for the life that I get to live, and it's just kind of overall what that encompasses, being near my family, having good health, especially when you haven't had good health, like sometimes in the past. But what was interesting when I was thinking about today's recording, I was actually grateful for something bad that happened, which, it kind of seems counterintuitive, but, you know, as a result of a lot of the, fallout from the whole Nexium thing, I think about it as like a bad divorce. I had a lot of friends reaching out and a lot of friends not reaching out about, and I found out, one of the, I think, bittersweet, I think, parts of that is that I really discovered who were my true friends, who really kind of cared for me. And all they did was just, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, okay, that's good enough for us. We don't need to know we don't believe any of, the salacious details. We know you. And that was such a refreshing, you know, foundation for me. And given that there were a lot of people who never even talked to me, they just refused to talk to me and just made up their minds and never had a conversation. Even some people that have known me for decades, and also even some family members. So it's like when you have that kind of stress test, you really just kind of find out who your true friends are. So I'm actually very grateful for that, so I don't have many superficial friends anymore. So
I can totally relate to that, and I agree. It's a similar process for me with it. And I've been thinking as well about the gratitude, and especially about situations in my life that have been very difficult for me, emotionally, psychologically, all of that. And actually, funnily enough, it's nearly the 1 year anniversary now. Last year, I had one of my closest friends, was also the woman who invited me into DOS, essentially break up with me. Essentially, she what seemed to me, it was kind of overnight. Within a few days, I thought, we were close friends, we had a trust, we were doing a project together, all of this. And then within like a few days, she kind of basically told me that, she changed her mind, and, she was thinking differently now and feeling differently now. And not only that, but she made a few choices where she, withheld work I'd been working on, and this and that. It got a little bit nasty in the sense that, at some point she just said, okay, goodbye, basically. And it was quite a harsh experience, having like someone you trust so much and someone who's so close to you. It felt, I was trying to like relate it to something. It felt like, you know, you've been in this partnership with a boyfriend or something, and you find out basically he cheated on you. And not only that, then he dumps you. That's what it felt like. I was like, I felt betrayed, I rejected. And it was rough. And I felt a lot of anger and resentment, and I felt wronged and all of these things. But this whole year as well, taking time to process it. And what I'm really grateful for in the whole situation was that I recognized also like how important relationships and friendships are to me, but also how much like it's my responsibility to nurture them. You know, this was a person that I think I noticed she was struggling. I didn't reach out. I didn't take the time to talk. I wasn't there for her. You know, I wasn't supportive of her when she was going through whatever time she was going through, which couldn't have been easy for her either. So since then, I've been thinking a lot about my friendships, my relationships, you know, more like a plant. You know, I need to nurture them. If I don't water them, if I don't give them care, they're going to die. They're going to, you know, frizzle out. So it's made me think a lot about just relationships and how I am with people, and also not to take things personal. You know, knowing that it's got nothing to do with me. That you know the people will change. People, we don't really know what's going on for other people, and the best I can just do is be supportive and be there. And so it's been rough, but I'm very grateful for that experience, and also you know all the memories that I have with her, and everything that I've learned through her, and everything that we've shared. And you know I wouldn't want to change it. Like I wouldn't want to go back and not have that friendship. So it was worth it.
Yeah, I kind of have like a push-pull relationship with some of these more difficult experiences that I've had. Um, there's still part of me that feels like a little angry about certain things, and then there is a part of me that sees the lesson and sees the what I've gained through it. One of the experiences specifically for me is the struggle with having my reputation and my career destroyed publicly. And I think there's a lot of people now with cancel culture that I think can relate to this. And um I never thought it would be this hard. I guess that was part of it. Like when I started to stand for the things that I thought were good, truth, and like I mean things that just seemed like I could never not stand for, like being honest about my experience of DOS, being honest about my experience of the branding process. I had no idea that things could go as awry as they did, and nor did I have any clue how difficult it could be to reestablish your um, reputation in society, or be able to kind of reestablish a career or find work to be able to support yourself. Um, I wouldn't wish it on anybody in the world. It's still difficult, and I'm still going through the process of being able to figure that out. But I will say that it's shown me a few different things that I think are kind of like gold. And I think one is material success, the difference between material success and kind of internal success, or love, shared relationships, what's really important. Uh, and I really value success. So that was a very difficult, it's been a very difficult thing for me. The experience of building self-esteem, of building yourself in the world, of being able to help people, of feeling kind of potent in the world is one that I really enjoy. But it's been difficult for me to get like, okay, the reason I don't have those things is because I'm standing for this thing. I'm standing for truth. I'm standing for what I know to be true. And although other people may not see it and they may not understand it, it's still worth it to me and my soul to do that. And still try to find ways to build myself materially. So that distinction has been a difficult one for me to find, and but I think it's a treasure, being able to see ourselves beyond our material success, beyond any of that stuff, to find the principles or the important things that make us human are much more valuable to my life. And that process is still going on. And like I said, sometimes it's a push pull, but I do feel grateful for being able to experience that distinction, and being able to experience what I'm willing to pay, the cost and the price that I'm willing to pay to uphold the people that I love, the things that I love, the things I know to be true, and not allow governments, administrative courts, people to do things that are not okay, you know. And I'm starting to find a whole lot of people, not a whole lot, but I'm starting to find the rare gems of people who are willing to do that. People who were willing to walk away from their jobs during COVID and things like that. And that the women in this project and a few other people who've been willing to make huge sacrifices to stand for what they believe in. And I think that's just a different quality of person. So I am grateful to discover that.
In a similar vein, I take particularly from what you say, Danielle, about the self-discovery aspect. And when I was reflecting on today's topic, I thought, gratitude and like all this, there's lots of people and modalities out there that preach gratitude, gratitude, do 3 gratitude things a day and journal and this and that and the other, blah, blah. Lots of world religions, encourage gratitude, in particular to the creator or whatnot, or a general sort of sense of gratitude for your life and all this. But like, why? Is it just like nice? Like, sure, it's nice when you're like, oh, thank you, and you're polite and all that, but it's not about that. And certainly that's not what the point of the trait was for me as a DOS woman. It is something that creates self-definition. And I want to give a personal example to sort of help explain that. And this is going back a number of years, but I finished my master's degree in 2012. And that was a 3-year process of like a ton of work. I think everybody here has done like formal education and even beyond, a bachelor's degree. So I think everybody here certainly knows. For anybody who hasn't and who's listening, like it's a lot of work. It's your regular job, and then you go up a level and you're, maybe even managing people. You're trying to manage, multiple things. You have a certain amount of independence, also responsibility, all these things. Anyways, it's a certain amount of stress. And of course, it's a external success, to a degree that you're getting, you're working towards something external. Of course, you're gaining your own knowledge and expertise along the way. So that's pretty cool. You get to have that. And then at the end of it, you get a piece of paper. Great. But it was through the process, and in particular, finishing my degree, handing in my manuscript, it was a written thesis, handing that in, and then having it published and going, through that was like this sort of aha moment. I was like, oh my God, I could not have done this without so many other people. I just explained how much work I did and blah, blah, and the effort and the stress, not taking that away from me. But everything from, of course, I needed my supervisor's support. First I needed him to like accept me into his program and then to like mentor me and all that. But forget that. Not only that, I needed him, whatever it was, 40 years ago to go to school, educate himself, build his career out for 40 years, build his laboratory, including having a reputation, getting the grants to keep it, going and keep his work going so that there was a spot for me to even apply to. The university had to create the program. The province had to the state authorities effectively had to give the accreditation to the university to be able to give the degrees that it's worth anything in the wider world. It's just, you go back and back and back and think about it's not like, oh, I worked so hard and I sacrificed so much and it was really a lot of effort. Yes, it was. But like, you stand on the shoulders of giants. It wasn't, I walked right into it. Like, it was just a gift to me that like, you can go in and put a whole bunch of effort out and you can have this degree for putting in that effort because other people before you did a whole lot of effort, and that's not even, the people who washed the glassware for my experiments, like everybody contributed to make it easier and make it not just easier, but even possible for me to do this. So, it was a very proud moment to hold my degree in my hands. It's a abstract thing, but you get a piece of paper, so to hold that in my hands, I was very, very proud of myself, but it was like a profound gratitude as well for like how that came to be and the world we live in that's been created by others in the past and then being co-created, in the moment, that allows us to do so much. And you see yourself, like I saw myself in my own effort much more clearly by being aware of everyone else's effort and being grateful for it. So to me, gratitude is not just like, oh, I'm such a nice person and I'm like kind and I'm like, oh, thank you, thank you. That's not what it's about. It's not just about being nice or being sweet or I don't know what, which it can be too. But like really the depth of gratitude comes about seeing yourself. And what you're describing there, Danielle, even having the gratitude, it is self-defining. Even if it's gratitude for a difficult subject, you see yourself more clearly. So I think that's the sort of deeper treasure of gratitude and why I would encourage everybody to practice it. I love that you said that, Linda. You do it every day because it's like you wake up just being more aware of you every day. And who doesn't want, well, I hope everybody feels that way, that they would like more of themselves and in their life and to see yourself and love yourself and be proud of who you are.
I love that example, and I totally agree. The gratitude, it's really like recognizing the interdependence. How I'm not like me by myself on the like I'm a part of a bigger network, and I've been doing this a lot with meals when I eat. Before I eat, that I thank also for the food, and I start to think about who are all the people that were involved, whether I eat at a restaurant or I eat at home. The farmers, the transporters, the the in the factory, the fabric, in the thing, the people that invented the metal so that we can put it into a jar, the people that invented, hundreds of years ago, the person who discovered wheat, whatever, like it's amazing, how far, like just for me to eat this meal in what, in 5, 6, in however much time it is, 5 minutes is a bit quick. I don't eat that fast, but like however much time it takes, to eat. But like how many people are involved in that meal, whether it's present, whether it's in your country, whether it's internationally, and whether it's going way back, it's and our ancestors. And I think, yeah, I agree. It's really the gratitude is recognizing your fallibility, your vulnerability, your dependence as well, that like we're not alone, and we do need each other, and that's beautiful. Like what a beautiful team, the whole everything is, that my life is better because of everyone else as well, and vice versa. So great, very nice example.
One of the most beautiful things I realized recently is that the piece of paper, Leah, that you're talking about, whether it's a degree, whether it's the Constitution, whether it's our rights, that really that piece of paper is only worth the spirit of the people that are backing it up, like the spirit of the people that are willing to stand for it, and what like our forefathers gave up to be able to put that Constitution into place. It wasn't the piece of paper, it was what they were willing to sacrifice to be able to stand for our rights. And I've never had an experience as deep as I did over the past 6 years to recognize like my medical degree could mean absolutely nothing if people are willing to make it mean absolutely nothing. Or, if we stand for it in a different way, what medicine means, care and healing and all the other things, science, standards, those are held by the people. And in that way, I felt very, very grateful that I could start to see, holy cow, this is really just people. Like if we don't stand for it, it doesn't exist. And the quality at which it stands for, it depends, it is also up to us. So I do feel very grateful for that. And I feel more like it's very present in my life that if I don't do it myself, like if I don't stand for it, it won't exist. And I've never had such an experience like that. It's a bit scary, I must say. but it's also very, very cool in that there is a real, like, if I don't stand up, it's not going to be there. So,
well, and it's reality. What you guys both, you and Sahajo, like, prompted me to think is like, this is reality. You don't have to be aware of it. You can be unaware of where your food comes from, but it doesn't mean it didn't come from there. I'm not eating the bananas that were grown in Vancouver, BC. Let me tell you that. I don't have to think about where they came from or how they got to my, kitchen, but that doesn't negate the truth. You can be all like, you can have the benefits of having whatever piece of paper we have, and not be aware of what goes into making that worth it, but it doesn't make it less true. So that's kind of neat. It's just reality. Gratitude helps you see reality.
I love that. It and what you were saying too, Leah, and just in general, it's just like we are so focused on our lives oftentimes that we just kind of just being like what you said, like, oh, I did all this work and focus on that versus zooming out and being like, oh, like going back in time and all the things that had to happen and all the people and really it's a beautiful, I think, reminder of how interdependent we are. We like to think that we're living our own lives and just, what a life that would be just if it was just all about us, and just our things, versus like, I think the more that you can see that, I think it's like more, to me, it feels like a blossom of sorts, of just the beauty of things. Ladies, this is a great discussion and thanks for coming here today. And for those listeners, if you like, share, comment, and let us know what you think and how, gratitude has affected you and your lives. All right. Take care.